about a year old.
Okay. Hi, Augie. Hi. You okay? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Come here, bud. It's okay. Look, it's okay. Augie, that's not... Don't scare him. Augie, it's okay. Come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You want to sniff me? It's okay. You got that underbite. I know you finna bite me. It's okay. What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications so you are notified every single time I drop a video and you don't miss one video. Everybody in here, make sure you smash that like button and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you like about the video. Let me know what you want to see next. Let me know if there's anything that you want to see on the channel. Any dog breeds, I can try and book them for myself. Let me know. Drop it down below. Y'all saw the title and the thumbnail. Yes, this is going to be an interesting one. Stick around for it. Watch the whole video through. Watch those ads. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, as you guys can tell by the video, by the title, no, I no longer work for PETSM RT anymore, and we will get into all of that later in the video. If you are new to the channel, I do a little talking about the dog, I talk about the haircut, and then I talk about the topic. So that's going to be the same style of video today. If you all are wondering, if you want to skip ahead to when I talk about why I no longer work for PETSM RT, you are more than welcome to, but don't skip too far ahead because you may miss it. I recommend listening to the whole video through so you can, one, see what I did on the dog. Yes, I'm going to be changing up the style of recording that I'm doing. This is just me getting adjusted to the new camera. So the camera is different. Usually I record on my phone, but I have something like a GoPro. It's called the Akaso 7E, and it's a pretty decent camera. It's like a little mini camera that I can use for the top of my head. But for this particular groom, I did just attach it to the table to see how I like the style of it, see how I like the quality of the camera. I know a lot of people want to see the camera sitting on top of my head as opposed to a stationary camera, so I do have a few videos like that, and I will release those once I get deep into the content of the new content. This is obviously the new content. I work for a private salon, and just a little quick snippet before we start talking about the PETSM RT thing. Working in a private salon is literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. I absolutely love it. Now, don't get me wrong, I can fit in a corporate salon, I can fit in a private salon, but a private salon has been such a life changer, and I cannot recommend enough that if you feel like you are stuck in a corporate job, well, corporate grooming salon, and you feel like you can't get out, when I tell you, it's life beyond working for a corporate company is just so much sweeter. It's so much nicer. Take the leap. Trust me. Let me be the one to tell you to take the leap. It's amazing, and it's so stress-free. But we're going to get into that later on in the video. Right now, we're going to be getting into talking about the dog. So let's talk about that. So this is my very first day in my new salon. Now, I started in this new salon March 27th, and that's because I wanted to take time off in between jobs, and also the position wasn't available for a couple weeks. So this is my very first day working there, and Augie was my very first dog grabbing. So I don't know if you could tell by the intro video, me trying to get him, Augie was not feeling it whatsoever. He tried to bite me several times, which I did not catch on camera because I wasn't trying to focus on recording him. while he was trying to bite me. It was more so, can I get this dog out the cage without getting bit, and also without injuring him. So my boss actually kind of stepped in and helped me get him out, because the cage opened from the top, which I didn't know, but it helped 100%. And once he got out the cage, he was still a little leery of me, but was fine with her because she's the one who took him back originally and put him away. But as you can see, he warmed up to me just fine. But his name is Augie, and he is the sweetest boy ever. And his transformation, you guys are going to love it. He is so cute. He literally looks like a completely different dog when he's done. It's so insane how different he looks. But he is the sweetest little boy. And as you can see, he's just standing there letting me do what I have to do. He's not trying to bite me or anything like that. There were 2 shepherds in the back that day that were barking. I don't know if y'all heard me say don't scare him. Those were the ones that were barking, and I think those dogs were freaking him out. So that's why he became super protective of his space and not wanting to come out, because he didn't know what was going to happen and he was unsure. But he's fine. Also, in the dog grooming world, I don't know if other groomers can chime in and say this, but a dog with an underbite tend to be a little bit more snarky than other dogs. So if your dog has an underbite, most of the time they're not a fan of grooming and they're not a fan of things being done. So in the beginning, when you heard me say, oh, you got that underbite, I know you're gonna bite me, it's because every dog that's had an underbite has always been very snarky and very like, don't mess with me. And dogs with overbites are completely different. They're the sweetest little dogs, but I don't know what it is. And correct me if I'm wrong, other groomers, but it is so different dealing with a dog with an underbite versus a dog with an overbite. It's so different. I don't know what it is, what sets it off, but dogs with underbites tend to be a little bit more nippy than dogs with an overbite. So that's what that comment was in the beginning. But as you can see, he's very sweet, so. So I know in all of my other videos, I rarely talk about what I'm washing the dog with or the soaps or anything like that, but I do want to talk about that in this video, because washing a dog in a private salon versus in a corporate salon is a little different. So in a private salon, they use mixing bottles, which was completely new to me. I've never used them before, and I was a little leery at first, if I'm going to be completely honest, because you guys know me, you know I love a clean dog, and mixing bottles I've never been a fan of, because I don't feel like they get the dog clean enough, or as clean as I would like it just using the soap straight through. But to my surprise, they are literally just like you using the soap straight from the pump. And I guess the science part about it is you're wetting the dog and then putting soap from the pump, so it's still being mixed with water. So I never thought about that, but washing a dog with like the mixing bottle soap, you know, I was a little leery at first, I was, but when I say I'll never go back to using it straight from the bottle, it's easier on your skin, it's easier on the dogs, is you're not using it straight from concentrate, and it actually, like I said, it gets the dogs really clean. So I was very, very happy to see that, and because like I said, you guys know how I am, I love my dogs very clean. I scrub them up, I soap them up, and you'll be able to see that once I start on his body, that like the soap on his body really lathers. Now this particular face wash, we don't actually use this face wash anymore, because as you can see, it doesn't lather as much as like you'll see for the body, but it still lathers up enough where his face is getting clean. And it's a blueberry face wash, so it's helping with potential tear stains for dogs. So if you have a dog that has tear stains, get yourself a blueberry face wash. That is going to help tremendously. And just real quick, because I know I'm bouncing around, but speaking of when I had to get him out of the crate and my boss had to help me, she was like, I feel so bad because this is your first day here and your first dog is trying to attack you. And I'm like, listen, it was no different than what I was dealing with at PetSmart. Actually, it's a lot easier because this opens right from the top, as opposed to at PetSmart you have to reach inside the kennel, potentially getting your hand bit. So it was a lot easier to grab them this way, especially with her help. Okay, bouncing back to the soap. So yes, we use mixing bottles. So if you are maybe starting up your own business or going to a new salon or wondering about mixing bottles, so typically on the bottle of soap it tells you how to dilute the shampoo. It'll say 8-to-1 or 20-to-1, and it'll tell you how many ounces of water versus how much shampoo to put in there. Now, my experience working there for maybe the past almost 3 months, when you are mixing the shampoo and the water together, I do not go with what they recommend on the bottle. And it's because the soap doesn't give that lather like you think it would. And even my boss says the same thing. She's like, I use a little extra. And me too. So let's say you have a mixing bottle and it says use 15-to-1. I would recommend using a little bit more because you're not going to get that real nice lather that you'd like. Most groomers will say, no, use what's on the bottle. You're wasting product that way. Not really, if you don't use too much. If you're not overusing it, you are using a good amount where you're still getting that lather in the soap and you're still getting the dog clean and it's penetrating through the coat and the skin and getting rid of all that dirt and scum that's on the dog when they come in to get washed. So I would say use a little bit more. I never use what's recommended on the bottle because it is not enough to really lather up the dog and get the dogs clean, in my opinion, from my experience. And funny thing is, so before I moved to the south, I was up north and I worked in the PetSmart salon up there. I still love every single last one of them. We are all actually really good friends. We talk literally all the time. So we wanted to do mixing bottles up there, but PetSmart doesn't allow mixing bottles because they say it builds up too much bacteria if you don't clean them out. But we deep clean. Literally everything gets cleaned once we leave. So none of the bottles are sitting with the same soap from the day before. We literally wash them out with hot water and redo the soap the next day. And you also don't want to make too much where you have a whole bunch of stuff left over, because then that's when you're wasting product. But I mean, you may be able to get away with using it the next day, like first thing in the morning, but if the soap is sitting right, you don't really want to use that. But for the most part, we use everything in one day, and then the next day we have a new set of soap. So mixing bottles are actually a really good thing. I recommend everybody use them. You save product, you save money, and the dogs still come out extremely clean. And they still smell really good when they're done. So I recommend using mixing bottles. I just want to jump in and say, with me learning how to use this new camera, I do want to say there is a way to record with audio and record without audio. When I set up to record this video, I know recently I've been putting a little bit of audio in the background so y'all can hear the clipper and y'all can hear the dryer and everything like that. Not so much the conversations that we have inside the salon, because usually it's private conversations, and we also have music playing in the background, so I can't get copywritten for that. So I don't want to play too much stuff in the background because I don't want to get copywritten. I don't want people's business out there. But with learning how to use this new camera, I did not know that there was no volume being recorded while I was using it. So in this video, there is no volume. I'm sorry. You cannot hear the clippers. You cannot hear the water. Nothing recorded. I swear. It was literally just the video. There was no audio recorded. So I think in the next video there will be audio, but I am not completely sure because I don't remember at what point I realized that the audio wasn't recording. And for the little snippets of this video that have audio recorded, like the intro and the after groom video, that was recorded by my phone, so that is why that has audio. Okay, so for Augie's haircut, now Augie came in matted, and usually he would get shaved down probably in maybe like a 7 blade, to my knowledge. I'm not really sure. I don't know how often he comes in because I haven't seen him since, and I don't know when he came in prior to that. I just know he did have mats. So for his haircut, we did have to shave him down. I took him down in a 4 blade. The reason why I watched him prior to cutting his hair is because I wanted to be able to get a longer length through his body. I did not want to have to shave him down in a 7. I didn't want to have to shave him down in a 10. You all know from watching me, I am not a fan of shaving dogs down in a 7 or a 10 unless they absolutely need it. So, or if that's what the pet parent asks for, or if that's what they want. But if they say save what you can, I'll wash the dog first, I'll blow dry it, separate the mats, and then I'll go through and shave him down. Now, could he have been dematted? Yes, but to demat him would be time consuming. He was already nervous, so it was best to shave him. Also, dematting is costly, and I did not want that on the owner because she's a little bit of an older woman, and I don't think she really cared all that much to get him dematted. So we did a 4 on his body, and we also did a 0 on his face with a nice little round teddy bear head. I didn't take much off of his ears because his ears were already short, I guess, from being shaved previously. So I just kind of neatened up his ears, trimmed around it, then sheared around his eyes so his eyes are very visible and he can be able to see. And then I neatened up his tail. And as you saw in the beginning, I did his prep work. So I did his paw pads, his sanitary, and his nails in the beginning. Now, for the people that keep requesting on seeing it, saying we can't see you do it, we can't see you do it, some of my videos you will be able to see me do it. I am going to shift the camera around and show you guys me doing the paw pads and the sanitaries. This just wasn't the video for that. I had to focus on getting him done. Also, I had to adjust to my new environment. So once we get further into the content, you'll be able to see all of that. So I want to thank everybody who was patient enough to wait for the new content, patient enough to just be patient and wait for the different camera angles. Like I stated in other videos, I was not able to do that in a corporate setting because they don't want you to pick up your phone, shift it around, do anything that will distract you from the dog, because in their minds the dog will get injured. Because in previous instances, you know, some groomers would take their eyes off the dog, and that's anywhere, and the dog could get injured. So PetSmart wanted to make sure that they had no liability issues. So I completely understand that. To a point. So now that I've talked about the haircut, I've talked about the grooming, I've talked about mixing bottles, if you guys have any questions, drop it down in the comments. Let me know what you want to chat about. Let me know how you feel about me switching companies. Well, switching jobs, kind of, sort of, because I'm no longer a manager, and to be honest, it is so peaceful. I'm so glad I'm not a manager anymore, because I didn't want to be a manager in the first place. I just took the job as a manager so I could do less dogs while my back healed. So yeah, there's that. But no, we're gonna get into why I don't work for PetSmart anymore. Like I said, if y'all have any questions about the groom, drop it down below. I hope you guys enjoy the video. let's get to it. Okay, now to the nitty gritty. No, okay. On a serious note, I am not going to be bashing PetSmart. So if that's what you were looking for, you can click out of this video, because I'm not going to bash PetSmart. I was with PetSmart for 12 years, off and on 12 years. Yes, I will say off and on 12 years, because I left at one point a long time ago because my store manager would not promote me because of the color of my skin. After I left, she was then terminated because of that, but I had already moved on. Came back, then left again for a different job, came back. I left the second time for maybe like 5 months because I wanted to try a new venture. Didn't really like the venture, so I went back to PetSmart because PetSmart was always my happy place. Back when I had my old managers, PetSmart was always my happy place. So I'm not going to bash PetSmart. I'm just going to tell my experience with PetSmart and why I no longer work for the company. So again, if you're looking for me to bash PetSmart, I am not jumping on that gravy train. I'm sorry. It's not going to be a I hate PetSmart video. It's not going to do that. There were certain aspects of PetSmart where I'm just like, I'm really glad I left. And then there are certain aspects of PetSmart, like the people I left up north, where I'm like, okay, I miss them. Do I miss working for the company? Absolutely not. I do not miss working for the company. Working for a corporate anything is almost like being in a okay, how I'm going to explain it is going to sound really messed up, but for those of you that work for a corporate grooming company, you would know working for a corporate grooming company is almost like being in an abusive relationship. And like, it's because when you work for a corporate company, you see all the good, but you experience more bad than good. So it's like you want to leave, but you don't at the same time, because the good is your PTO, so your paid time off. The good is your health benefits. The good is your steady income. The good is your consistent, this is, I know what I'm going to get paid income. But the bad is everything else that nobody sees. So, like I said, I'm not going to bash PetSmart. I'm really not, because I think with some rearrangement, they can become the great company that I worked for when I originally got hired at PetSmart. So in terms of why I don't work for PetSmart anymore, so I got bit by a dog. I did not tell them about the dog. Someone told them about my YouTube channel. They saw the video of where I got bit by the dog, and they terminated me because I did not let them know that I got bit by a dog. So that is why I do not work for PetSmart anymore. So, in terms of, was I upset that I got terminated? No. I wasn't upset at all. To be honest, when I got terminated from PetSmart, it was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I would come home almost every day so stressed out. And this happened after I moved to the South. So the PetSmart that I worked for up north was completely different than the PetSmart that I worked for down south. And I mean, I'm talking all the way to corporate management. Up north, completely different than when I came down south. Now, up north, our district leader, awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. He knows his stuff. He wants you to be good, do your job, don't injure dogs. He is very cut and simple like that. He don't want you to brown nose him. He doesn't want you to be who you're not. He wants you to do your job, don't injure dogs, and be a good employee. And that's what I got up north. It was awesome. It was completely 100% stress-free. Well, no, scratch that. It wasn't stress-free because I was still a manager up north, so I still had the stresses of a manager's job, but it wasn't anything compared to when I came down south. Now, when I came down south, it was very different. The dynamic is different down south. Things are very different down south. It just changed. I will say it pushed my want to get out of PetSmart higher than it was originally. So when I originally was moving down south, I wasn't looking to transfer with PetSmart because I was tired of the corporate company. I was over it. Well, the corporate grooming company, I was over it. I couldn't do it. There's too many rules and regulations in there. So certain products that would help benefit the dog, they don't want you to use that. You can't bring your own personal products, which I understand to a point, but I feel like if you okay it with the pet parent and the pet parent's like, oh yeah, if that's going to help my dog, do it, absolutely, then more companies should be willing to do stuff like that. So if we knew of let's say a medicated shampoo that would do better for the dog than what PetSmart had to offer, we were not allowed to do that unless the owner brought it in. And if the owner brought it in, we would have to charge them for it. It is not like that in a private salon. In a private salon, if they need medicated shampoo, yes, there is a minor upcharge because you're using a different product, but there is not a drastic upcharge like in a corporate company. Corporate companies, I don't want to say they nickel and dime, but they want everything that they can get. So it's a little different working with products from a corporate standpoint to a private salon standpoint in terms of what is best for the associates and what's best for the dogs. In a private salon, we look at all aspects. We look at, okay, what's going to be best for the associate and the dog? Is this going to work out for you and the dog? Are you going to get bit? Are you going to get injured? Is something going to happen to our establishment? Whatever the case is. A private salon is very well, they look, at least from this private salon that I'm working at now, we look at all aspects of the situation. With a corporate company, they look at, am I going to lose money if you turn this away? Am I going to lose money if you do this? If so, you just got to suck it up and deal with it. So it's very different it's very different in terms of the environment and what is allowed to go and what's not allowed to go. I put up a video and it was of this malnourished dog, like super malnourished dog, and the dog was like skin and bones. Some of the joints were out of place, and one of the comments was like, why didn't you report them? Well, in a corporate salon, you are not allowed to do that. You cannot report, you cannot judge, which again, I understand, because some people fall on hardship. And in a private salon, we don't really judge anyway. Well, groomers in general, we all judge. We all judge. We do. We all judge. Just like doctors judge. We all do it. But In terms of if this dog is physically being abused and we can tell this dog is like neglected, there's a different dynamic when you are in a private salon. Because someone said to me, well, a lot of groomers that I know would report that woman. They wouldn't give that dog back. Well, by law, you do technically still have to give the dog back if you work in a private salon. But if the law got into it, the person who is abusing the dog or neglecting the dog, it falls a little bit more on them because now the law is involved, and there is different dynamics that can go about. With a corporate salon, you have to turn your cheek. You have to act like that dog is not being abused. You have to act like that dog is not being neglected. You have to act like the dog is in perfect condition and your job is to solely groom it. Now, in terms of policies and procedures, like I said, there's a lot of policies and procedures when it comes to PetSmart. So you always have to have a blue slip lead. They think that if the dog jumps out of your arm, the blue slip lead is going to save the dog from hitting the floor and hurting themselves. When in reality, if a dog jumps out of your arm and they are connected to a slip lead, the slip lead is going to choke them and hang them like a noose. In terms of if they jump out of your arms, they're going to land on the ground. They may have a bump, a bruise, whatever, but they won't be hung and their neck won't be snapped like a noose. But with corporate companies, you have to have a slip lead around the neck, which I personally disagree with. That was what I always disagreed with there. They did not like it, but for me, one, I've never dropped a dog. I've never, in my almost 7 years of grooming, and I've been working with PetSmart for like I said, off and on 12 years, and I worked with dogs the majority of those times in the grooming salon. I've never once dropped a dog, because if a dog is going to freak out, I'm holding on to you tight. You're not going anywhere, because if you get hurt, I'm gonna be upset. So I understand the aspect of wanting to protect the dog and make sure they're not injured, but the always having a slip lead on the dog, if the dog jumps out of your arm, like I said, it's going to snap the dog's neck, and it's not going to be good for the dog, the company, the pet parent, anything. So I did not agree with that. But in terms of policies and procedures, in a private salon, there really is no policy and procedure. It's don't hurt the dog. That's pretty much the policy in a private salon. Do not hurt the dog. That dog needs to go back to its pet parent in one piece. Yes, we understand, like when you're scissoring, a little nick can happen, anything like that, but do not injure that dog where that dog has a broken leg, it's missing an ear, half the tongue's cut off. That is pretty much the policy and procedure in a private salon. In a corporate setting, which a lot of people like all the policies and procedures inside of a corporate salon, but some of them can be a little hindering. So when I said that I got terminated for being bit by a dog and not telling them, policy and procedure for PetSmart is any incident that happens, you have to report it. So when I got bit and I did not tell them, they considered that an incident, even though it was a very minor bite. I mean, down to like a dog scratching you, they want you to report it, which I get it. I understand, because if it gets infected or anything happens, they want to be able to cover it. You have to report it within the first, it's like 24 to 48 hours. So it was a little ironic that they waited to bring it up, because it was like months later. Wait, no, it was probably like, actually, I don't even know how long it was. I have no idea how long in between me getting bit to me being pulled into the office. But it was more of a shock than a disappointment that I got terminated for that, because I've seen so many policies being broken, and I mean like major policies being broken when I moved down south. So when I got terminated for me getting bit, it was very shocking, but I was like, okay, cool, let's go get my stuff. I didn't care. But they also tried to wrap in saying that me doing a YouTube was a bad look for the company. And I'm like, well, I've really gotten a lot of positive feedback for it, but okay. So they were trying to tie in a whole bunch of different things as to why they were terminating me. So it was a little eye-opening and just a little like, yeah, all right. So like I said, a lot of their policies and procedures were a little hindering and almost like put a halt on your growth almost. Like I stated with the shampoos. So for the shampoos, if you knew of a shampoo that would be significantly better for the pet parent, instead of you being able, let me just go grab the shampoo and use it on your dog, the pet parent has to go out, buy the shampoo, bring it back in. And most people don't want to do that because they don't want to have to spend the money to do that, because they expect the groomer to have what they need. And PetSmart, right around the time I was leaving, was updating their products, but nothing to the magnitude of what I've experienced in a private salon. And like I said, in a private salon, I can, if I see something that I like, she is more than happy if I want to bring it in and use it on the dog. She'll get it so we can use it on the dog, test it out, see how we like it. It's just an all-around healthy environment. Working in a corporate setting, I will say there was always drama. There was always drama. I mean, somebody was jealous of another person. Somebody didn't get along here, another person didn't get along here, they didn't like the way this person said something. There was always drama in a corporate salon. But in a private salon, again, I can't speak to all private salons. I can only speak to the one that I'm at. There is literally no drama. There is no drama. We all get along. And I think it's because in a private salon, depending on where you're working, the person who's hiring you tries to find people who mesh well together. In a corporate setting, they will hire anybody. They literally will tell you to bring people in. So when I tried to implement, okay, I don't think this person's the right fit. Yeah, well, we need people, so bring them in. So it's a little different, you know, with a corporate salon and a private salon. Like I stated earlier, if you work in a corporate salon and you feel like you can't get out, and again, like I said, if you love your corporate salon, by all means, I'm happy for you. But there are a lot of people who are very uncomfortable, who feel trapped working in a corporate salon. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's what people told me. When I've talked to other salon leaders that left, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a brighter side to the dark and gloomy days. And I can surely attest to that. It's just 100% better, and I'll never go back. There's no amount of vacation time, there's no amount of healthcare and that will make me go back to a corporate setting. I will never go back. It's just so peaceful, so relaxing. I have the weekends off. I get to spend time with my family. Me and my girlfriend travel more. My life is just stress-free. All I have to do is worry about grooming dogs. I don't have to worry about anybody's personality, somebody not liking somebody still mad about somebody who don't even work for the company anymore. My life is stress-free and I love it. And I'm happy. I enjoy my weekends off. I still talk to, I wouldn't say I still talk to the people from the down south PetSmart, because I don't. I did talk to 1 or 2 people and they seem to be doing well. So I wish everybody the best. I don't hate or dislike anybody. It's just, it's not a lot of people that were my cup of tea. So I'm very happy that I left. I'm very happy where I am now. And I am very happy that y'all are going to experience the better content that I'm going to be putting out. Certain dogs, also working in a corporate setting, if a dog came in super pelted, matted, we were not allowed to do that dog. Not because we weren't capable of it, but They don't want you to do dogs like that. They consider it high risk when it's not really high risk. So like if I were to take a dog that was like super pelted or matted, I was looked down upon for doing that because you're not supposed to do that. Well, I just want to help this dog. I just want this dog to feel better. Yeah, but you're not supposed to do that. So it was a lot of that. Like I said, my up north family, I love them to pieces. Down south was a little different. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I am happy. Like I said, I don't wish anybody any ill will. I wish everybody the best with their life journeys, but it just wasn't for me. I think I'm a different type of person, and I don't like a lot of drama. And there was just it. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on any of that. There's going to be so much more new content. I'm so glad that it is finally out. If you did not notice, I changed my banner on my channel, so please go take a look at it. It looks absolutely cute. All of those dogs on there that you see, I have groomed every single last one of them. A lot of them you will see on the channel, and if you can spot it, my 3 dogs are in the banner as well. And all in all, I look at everything as a stepping stone. That was God ending my journey with PETSM RT. It was Him telling me that it's time for me to move on and do bigger and better things. And it is happening. Like I stated, you guys, so many more changes are coming to the channel. I'm so excited to show you guys. And one last thing I'll put in there. Will I say that PETSM RT is a bad company to work for? No. I do not think personally that they are a bad company to work for. I think just like anything, I think you need to go in knowing what you want out of it before you set a life commitment to anything. So know what you want out of it. If you want to become a dog groomer, I will say PETSM RT is a decent opportunity for that because they set you up with the tools for it. They set you up with the training for it, and you work beside a salon leader who knows how to groom and knows what they're doing, and you become a better groomer that way. So for that aspect, yes, I think PETSM RT is a really good opportunity for somebody who wants to learn how to groom. Okay, so now that we are done, we are going to take a quick flashback look at Augie's before. This is what he looked like when he came in, and this is what he looked like after. Like I said, he looks like a completely different dog. He is so cute and so adorable. He was very nervous and very timid, but he was all around a good boy. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that wonderful YouTube stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, drop it down below. I will see you guys in the next video. Train your dogs for grooming. Love you guys. Peace.